what is the Naked group even? I have no idea what this group is, like what it's about. Why are they called Naked? That's kind of weird.
NakID is a place where students can come and feel safe sharing their struggles with homosexuality if they identify as LGBT or SSA. And it's also a place for people who don't struggle with that or identify as that to come and learn how to better love those who do.
We came up with the name Naked having a lot to do with the Genesis account of how their nakedness was directly attributed with their vulnerability. And you notice that when they're nude on the outside, they're expressing vulnerability and trust and symbiosis with like each other and with God. But when shame enters the picture, their need to clothe themselves, clothe their bodies, and clothe their shame is their first need, their first goal.
It's naked with an ID instead of an ED for identity, because we want to be vulnerable together. We want to be naked in that way together, to be sharing the deepest parts of our lives together, and to be finding our identities in Christ, the core of our identities, what's left when we're naked and stripped away of everything else.
So tell me a little, what is BQU really like? We hear a lot of things on campus, and probably none of them are accurate or right.
Yeah, there's been quite a few things. It seems like mostly it's been used kind of like just tossed around as a joke, like, oh my gosh, are you in the BQU because you're acting a certain way? You know, two guys being romantic in Emerson.
It's a place specifically designed for the LGBT community at Biola to be themselves. It's a place for these students to be safe doing so, no matter where they might fall on the side A, side B spectrum that we're going to be hearing more about this Tuesday.
The BQ necessarily, it's basically a support group. It's for people who are on campus who are LGBTQ, who are still closeted and prefer not to have their, not out to their friends and family. It's kind of like a safe place. It's kind of secretive for people to go to. So that's kind of like where the ominous part comes in, because it's a secret, kind of a secret group. It's the underground, But it's not as bad as people think it is, really. It's just real people, real Christian people, struggling with, trying to struggle, just coping with life and how to fit in, having no one to talk to. It basically provides a safe place for them.
This Wednesday, the 7th, Biola invited a side A and side B speaker, Wesley Hill and Justin Lee, to come debate each other over LGBT issues.
As far as I know, it is the first time a dialogue has happened like this at Biola, in which two perspectives are going to be given on same-sex relationships and homosexuality from a Christian perspective. Two ways of thinking about this has been termed in side A and side B perspectives in theology.
Side A and side B, they're both sides within Christianity. One, side A, believing that biblically homosexuality, living that lifestyle, is okay, it's not a sin. Side B, though, believes that though the orientation isn't a sin itself, to act on that orientation, to live the lifestyle, is a sin.
And side B is kind of like a person who's LGBTQ who identifies as Christian, but also decides to remain celibate and does not support gay marriage.
Side A believes that God blesses same-sex marriages to the same degree and to the same level that he blesses heterosexual marriages.
In the past, Biola's had events talking about this issue, but they've never really given side A a voice. So it's kind of, it's a big deal that Justin Lee's coming to talk about the side A standpoint.
It's kind of a big deal because Justin Lee is he's the guy he's the founder of the Gay Christian Network. It's a nationally known network online for gay Christians, and he has a book, a very popular book out, and it's kind of like the same with Wesley Hill. So it's two very big prominent people coming to talk about matters that make people feel uncomfortable. The big thing about it is, I think, the fact that Biola University is having a speaker like Justin Lee. I mean, we've had I think there was a NakID event last year where we had a side B speaker come and speak. But this is the first time ever there's been an affirming side A speaker coming to Biola, a person who is gay and Christian, you know. And not only just any person who's gay and Christian, it's like, you know, the guy, you know, a model, a big prominent figure in the gay Christian community.
It's actually interesting, instead of advertising the debate as like a debate, the school has put it as, the title is How Do We Love? And I think that's really cool because it's showing that even though we may disagree on these two different sides, we have these two different sides going back and forth. We are brothers and sisters in Christ, and we can learn to love each other regardless of those disagreements.
I think it's really exciting, and I'm so glad that it's going to provide an opportunity, maybe for the first time ever, for students to hear two different sides on an issue that affects so many people, and specifically affects so many people with the church.
And I'm really glad that Wes and Justin are going to be doing this because they're friends and they know one another, and they respect one another, and they understand that this isn't just about a yes or no, a right or wrong, a do or don't answer, but that it's more complicated than that. It's more human than that. It's more systemic. It affects relationships. No matter if you're gay or straight, if you're side A or side B, this conversation affects so many relationships.
I'm hoping that people will come away from the discussion with less fear, with more confidence in talking about this topic.
And it's okay that we disagree, and it's okay that we're not eye to eye on everything, but that I'm really hoping that seeing these two different sides will allow us to come back together as the LGBT community, and also as Christians and as students here at Biola.
So I hope people who come in with an open mind and are receptive to it. It's interesting because I think a lot of people don't even know there's such thing as a side A or side B, or there's such thing as a gay Christian. So I think for a lot of people this is going to be an eye-opening thing. I hope it causes people to rethink their views, also to, if not even like rethink, just to be more accepting, more loving, more loving, naturally loving, not kind of a cold, distant loving, but more natural loving.
Rather than coming like searching for the right answer, I think we should just come asking God, how can we love people better? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to find the right answer apart from God.
I would encourage that you come with a posture to listen. If you're heterosexual, if you don't experience any non-heterosexual desires, I would really encourage you to remember that the people around you on this campus, in your dorm, possibly your roommates, maybe even your professors or faculty, are directly linked to this conversation. These people are asking the question if they're allowed to experience deep intimacy through sex. That's a very important question. Put yourself in the shoes of someone who's being told that they can never experience the intimacy of what the erotic companionship brings. And this campus, with a culture that tells us that Biola is a sock factory where everyone comes out in pairs, this question, this narrative that says you can or cannot experience an erotic life or an erotic partnership or companionship is a serious, serious statement. It's a serious theology, whether it's true, whether it's possibly faulty in some ways, regardless of the truth of the matter. To tell someone that because of the scriptures, because of who Jesus is, you're going to have to live this certain way. This is very important. It should be important to you. Even if you're not gay, even if you are the straightest thing, that's come out of this school, this should affect you personally just as it affects me personally. Because your brothers, your sisters, the people you're going to be sitting around God's table, this affects them so personally.